All right, welcome to the podcast. I am Pia Muehlenbeck, and sitting right in front of me is my husband, Mr. Vatu himself.
Good evening.
It is officially the weekend, and this is Wine Time, the show where we crack open a bottle of bubbly and suggest you do the same.
Not if you are driving. If you are driving, wait till you get home and then open the bottle.
And join us as we chat through the week that was.
Nice, new intro.
Yeah, nailed it. Finally, you're actually included in it.
Well, by popular demand, I got included.
Who demanded that?
That would be me.
Yeah.
So it is episode 3, and we have actually forgotten to get wine today. So the only alcohol in the house is vodka. So there is a good possibility that this episode might be the first episode that gets banned. I've put Grace, our manager, on red alert.
Who bans it? Just Grace or
Yeah, just Grace.
Yeah, right.
It's not good. It's not good. But yes, we are back with episode 3 on the podcast.
Guys, the response to the podcast has been so exciting for us. I don't know what it is about this kind of format, but I think just like having a format where we talk a little bit more and sort of reveal a little bit more about ourselves, and then seeing you guys respond positively to that.
I know. It's really nice.
So exciting. It's so fun.
We've actually had more listeners on episode 2 than we did on episode 1, and we crossed that boundary on Wednesday. So what we got in a week on episode 1, we got in 4.5 days with episode 2. So I'm expecting big things for episode 3.
Great. So we're going in the right direction.
Oh, well, for the first 2 episodes, yeah.
We still need to figure out how to film it. Right now we are chilling on the couch.
I know, it's so hard though, because it's hard to describe, but we are sitting on the couch, which means we're kind of slouching, because that's what a couch is for.
Yeah.
Which means we don't look good. If you want to see me with 15 double chins, we'll record it. But until we get confirmation that's what people want, I think we're going to keep it audio only.
Now people are going to definitely confirm that's what they want.
Don't forget, guys, make sure you rate this podcast 5 stars. We've had so many people come up to us and say, hey, we rated it 5 stars. Where's my hug?
We're handing out hugs.
We are a hug hander outer. So yeah, what we're doing, if you give us 5 stars, you get a hug. If you give us 4 stars, you get a handshake. If you give us 3 stars, you get a high five. And if you only rate us 2 stars, you get a punch in the face.
And we don't even want to talk about 1 star.
Oh, that doesn't even exist, I don't think.
So we have had an absolute crazy week.
Yeah, it's been super nuts.
Yeah. So after we recorded the last podcast, we actually went to the Whitsundays, which, if you don't know Australia very well, is like just on a 2-hour flight north.
Yes, and we went to a place called Airlie Beach, and then we got a boat to a place called the Whitsundays, and we experienced possibly some of the whitest, finest sand
Oh my gosh.
in the world. It is the reason why my drone no longer flies.
Yeah, they actually warned us that the sand is so fine there that it will mess up all devices like cameras, phones, all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
And then Kane goes to fly his drone and then immediately crashes it. It came like hurtling into him.
No. What happened was I forgot my drone charger, which is kind of, I typically forget at least one important thing whenever we do a travel job. And in this time...
Because we're still new at this.
Oh yeah, we've only been doing it 5 years. And this time I forgot my drone charger, which was super annoying because we were in the best place on earth to fly a drone.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So I only had like 10 minutes on the drone, which is more than enough for me usually. But this place was stunning. So when I took the drone up, I did all the kind of usual moves that I wanted to do to capture the footage. And then I flew right the way out to sea, completely forgetting that I only had half a battery and no charger. So I got about 1 kilometre out to sea and the thing started beeping at me going, excuse me, you've got like 30 seconds before I plummet to the ground. So I hurtled back to the beach as quickly as I could, thinking everything's okay. And when it got to about 20 metres away from me, it just died. It dropped out the sky and hurtled towards my ankles. So I jumped out the way. I wasn't able to catch the thing. And the drone, which has got loads of air vents and air intakes and things like this, and a very, very delicate camera, might I add, smashed into the finest sand in Australia. And now the whole thing is full of sand.
Yeah.
So I think it's broken. We're currently charging it now and hopefully it'll be okay. But yeah, not a good weekend for me.
Well, at least we got the footage though. He makes me like run along the beach sort of Baywatch style while he goes and like films this
That makes me sound really weird. I don't think you should ever say that actually, babe.
Well, it's the reality. Realistically, it looks like really like candid content. And Kane's like, okay, run 100 meters that way, turn around, run 100 meters back. And he just keeps flying the drone up and down the beach trying to capture content.
All these different angles. Then we got back to Sydney and we worked on our top secret project. You know, if you follow us on YouTube, you know we've put our company Slinky on hiatus right now. We're working on something new. So we spent most of Monday and most of Tuesday working on that. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, we've been working with a brand called LG. Thanks for reminding me.
I just saw your eyes just blank totally. Just one of the biggest brands in the world.
Yeah, it was funny because the reason I wanted to say that it was very funny because they say don't work with kids or animals.
Yeah.
And Pia got given possibly the biggest dog I've ever seen.
Yeah.
What breed was it?
He was like a Bernese mountain dog.
That's right, yeah.
He was enormous. So I had to do this kind of presentation in front of a bunch of guests. Like we were hosting an event with LG.
With a dog?
And yeah, my kind of co-host who was there was this enormous mountain dog.
The funny thing was, like, dogs normally are like a nightmare. You know, you see animals on TV shows and they go to the bathroom and it's always very difficult. This dog was just so chilled out. It just fell asleep and didn't perform at all. So Pia had to kind of do both parts, which was kind of funny.
Every time I referred to him, I was like, hi, here's Moose, the big mountain dog. And he was just like flat, just like on these tiles because it was a really hot day. So he was just like trying to cool off laying flat on the tiles. And they say I don't work with children, but they did ask me to bring Kane. So
hey, that's not funny. So what else has been happening on the internet this week?
So the thing that I am most excited about for sure is the Team Trees movement that is currently happening.
This is the thing that Mr. Beast has started.
Yes. So Mr. Beast is a YouTuber who just crossed 20 million followers and he kind of jumped on Twitter and asked his followers how he should celebrate. And the comment that got the most traction was, hey, Mr. Beast, I think you should try and plant 20 million trees to celebrate 20 million subscribers.
I think that was the one that got like the most amount of retweets or something. So that was the one he decided to go with. But to plant 20 million trees is really difficult.
It is really difficult.
He's kind of got a load of YouTubers together, including us. Our video is coming out very soon. And kind of getting everyone to encourage their own fan bases to contribute and plant trees with the Arbor Day Foundation. So I think with those guys, it costs $1.
Yeah, $1 per tree.
Yeah, which is really great. And that's because they've got the economies of scale and they know what trees work in what areas. So it's not just a case of, going planting some saplings randomly. They're really doing a good job for long-term growth.
Yeah, so this movement has basically been dominating YouTube at the moment because there's like, I think over 600 YouTubers have all banded together. Everybody's jumped on, made videos about it and encouraged the audience to jump on this because at the end of the day, planting 20 million trees by 2020 is a huge goal that requires more than just one YouTuber, but they are getting so close.
Well, the crazy thing was, like, one YouTuber might have, an active audience of X, and of that active audience, maybe just a small percentage are going to go, yeah, I'll put $1 or $2 or $5 or 10. Somebody might donate $100, but it's kind of quite small numbers. And then earlier this week, it was crazy. The guy that owns Twitter, Jack Dorsey, he went, you know what? I'll put in 200 grand. Oh no, he put in 150 grand. That's right.
Yeah.
The internet went wild, especially on Twitter, obviously, because he's the CEO. So he put in, 6 hours later, I think he put in another 200. So he put in 350 grand, which is 350,000 trees, which is nuts.
Yeah.
And then YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki, don't know how to say her name. I never know how to say her name.
I don't know how to say it either.
She put in 200K. Then Elon Musk put in $1 million.
That's big time.
Which is actually causing a lot of controversy because he's pleading poor right now because he's got a lawsuit going. So where that $1 million came from, I don't know. But, most billionaires aren't poor.
I guess for him, just having a cool couple of million in the bank is like cash poor.
Yeah. That's well, in that case, I'm very, very, very poor.
Yeah. And then he has been topped by the CEO of Shopify, Toby Lutke, with $1,001,001.
No way, really?
Yeah, he just put in $1 more because he just wanted the top spot.
Do you know what was interesting? YouTube themselves said they're matching Elon Musk's one as well.
Really?
Yeah, so I think they've got, at currently time of recording this podcast, I think it's at 11 million.
Oh, that is amazing. Now, and how long ago do you think, when did this start?
Like a week ago.
Wow.
Imagine and this Mr. Beast, he's like 20, 21 years old. He's a kid. Like he's not got a big organization behind him. It's just a kid with his group of friends making YouTube videos, and it's just gone nuts.
Isn't that amazing?
It's
it
brilliant.
Actually shows how if everybody kind of groups together, especially with like something like YouTube creators, how much of a difference you can make in a positive way. And I feel like creators on YouTube have really got a bad rap in the past few years because
I mean, there's a lot of idiots on YouTube as well. Don't forget. So like almost rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, you've had like controversies, right? You've had PewDiePie controversies, you've had Logan Paul controversies, you've had traditional media trying to tear all the YouTubers down, and now all of a sudden YouTubers are banding together to plant 20 million trees in like a month and a half.
Exactly. This is amazing though, because we've been doing something similar with Slinky, our company, for about 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
So when you go onto our store, you can bump up a few bucks and plant a few extra trees with every order.
Yeah.
So
we use a charity called One Tree Planted.
Yeah. So we've partnered with them. But while our store is down because we've got this new relaunch coming out, we've actually said, you know what, forget it. Let's work with Mr. Beast directly. Let's work with the Arbor Day Foundation. And so we are going to be working with those guys as well over the next few weeks to try and, do our part as well. Because it is good vibes. I know that a lot of people are like, well, you fly on planes and you've got a petrol car. And there's always kind of the naysayers. But ultimately, everyone can agree that having a few more trees in the world is a good thing. And I think that's why this has done so well.
It absolutely is. And it's come off the back of everyone being outraged about the Amazon burning.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think more so than the actual impact of the trees, which will have a huge impact, it's about sending a message to politicians about how the general public want to do something about the environment.
Well, this is a very, very interesting point. And there's actually, I don't want to get deep here, but this is I reckon this is quite scary to governments. And what I mean by that is democratization of power is definitely occurring amongst social media people, right?
Yeah.
Social media people are becoming, I hate to say it, but like inverted commas, the most powerful people on the planet because they've got the biggest audiences.
Yeah.
And that's honestly where Donald Trump has done so well, because he also has a really big audience, but most politicians don't. But someone like Mr. Beast or someone like Logan Paul or people like that with the huge audiences can actually make good change. And I think governments and politicians are going to start getting quite worried, because if a kid can convince enough people to plant 20 million trees, and then you've got like the Australian Prime Minister making sure that we still have our coal plants going over here, rather than investing in solar or wind, it sends a message
about how out of touch they are.
And it really undermines the power that politicians have.
Yeah.
So there is this definite movement right now which is happening. I quite like it. I think it's fun. I think
it's the power of the people. It's actually a true democracy at that point.
Exactly. And that's why I think politicians are a little bit worried. But for the people, this is a great thing. And I'm really pumped. If anyone wants to, go check out teamtrees.org. We don't make any money from this. It's just a good vibes thing. And if you want to plant some trees, go, leave a couple of bucks. We have, and we will be doing more next week.
I think it's a really nice idea.
Also, following on from that, social media has been kind of under fire this week, especially Facebook.
What for?
Well, it's an interesting one because Zuckerberg is under a fair bit of scrutiny from governments around the world, because he is allowing ads to be run on the platform without really fact checking them.
Right.
Now, I don't know if newspapers fact check. I don't know if radios fact check if you've got the best, double glazed windows when you run an ad on the radio. But apparently Facebook really should be fact checking, because Facebook has been attributed to the reason why Donald Trump got into power, because of the Russians.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I don't know if it's even true or not, but a lot of people are now scrutinizing him, saying, hey mate, what's going on? Why are you allowing ads to be run that are not fact checked?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it his responsibility to fact check everyone's ad?
This is the question. Now, maybe with political ads, there should be some responsibility, but I don't know if other mediums, radio, newspaper, TV, have to fact check their political ads or not. But he's massively under fire for it. And it's a tough one, because this guy, you got to think, just a few years ago, not long ago, 10, 15 years ago, whenever Facebook launched, he was just making a website to check out hot chicks. Like, he was probably just that nerd that I don't think he even probably got a girl at uni. And he was like, is this chick hot or not? Do you remember amIhotornot.com? Probably not.
No.
It was only really boys that went on that website. But, there'd be two girls and you can rate these people. And yes, it's not.
That's what Facebook started as, right? Yeah.
And of course, it's not right to rate girls like this, but the people that do this sort of stuff are typically the guys that aren't having much actual interaction with females in the real world.
Yeah.
And now he's in Congress under fire because Donald Trump's got into power. And he's like, I was only trying to rate hot chicks.
He now has to deal with like freedom of speech versus
guy.
censorship versus like, you know, political correctness and false advertising and all sorts of things.
Absolutely. And this is the thing now. It's escalated to the point where yesterday, Jack Dorsey from Twitter has announced that they are no longer running any political ads on the platform.
That's probably the best way to go.
Well, yeah. I mean, not for Twitter's business model.
Yeah,
they've taken a hit there.
Yeah.
They've said no to a whole segment of ads.
Yeah.
And I bet you any money the people that are advertising the most are, you know, political lobbyists.
But like, let's be real. If somebody's on there advertising, you know, skinny tea or something, is it up to Twitter or Facebook to like trial it, test it, and make sure that it's actually a correct advertisement?
Exactly. I just don't know. I don't know what's right. I guess the determining point is if you decide to get sucked into a skinny tea ad and you buy some, the worst you're going to get is diarrhea. That's the truth.
Yeah, okay. But
you get sucked into a political ad and suddenly the next minute, you're under military coup in your city. It's a little bit worse. So I think that's where the differentiator is. But anyway, I feel sorry for that guy.
Yeah.
Because he just looks like he is like a deer in the headlights all week. Really, really bad.
I bet he didn't plan for this when he was just making a social network.
No way. Also, Instagram, it looks like they might start running ads on their IGTVs.
Well, not yet.
Really?
I did see this, but they're really pushing for people to do more long form video content on IGTV, right? I think that they can see that, you know, YouTube has been such a long standing platform that just keeps growing from one success to the next.
No, that's not true at all. YouTube has stayed video for the whole time.
That's what I mean.
Oh, I see. Right.
But I think they see that video content is where it's at, right?
Got it. Yeah.
And so I read this article where they're saying that they really want to push people to create long form content, but the article itself said, but there's no incentive for people to create long form content because most creators, if they're putting in full-time hours, they're hoping to make a career out of it. They're not just putting up content for the sake of putting up content.
We do. We are stupid.
But there's no way to monetize anything on Instagram.
No, that's true.
So I'm not sure who it was at Instagram, but one of the top managerial staff there said that they were looking at IGTV probably being the first feature that would be monetized in some sort of way for creators.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so that you can get, an AdSense type kickback off the content that you create, which at the end of the day, if you do want to make a career as a creator, you have a couple of options. You can make merch.
Yep.
You can do something like a Patreon or like a sponsorship program where you ask your followers to just donate to you essentially.
Yep.
Or you can work with brands and, create brand partnerships and ambassador roles and things like that. Or you just don't really make any money.
See, this is the problem I have with Instagram and kind of Facebook as well. I think in their kind of development team, they're seeing, YouTube is a good thing. Let's add video. And I think both Facebook and Instagram have become this big old mess.
Yeah.
There's so
with
much
all the
stuff going on.
features.
All the features. And as a result, the app actually suffers. Like the app is a bit broken in so many ways.
I mean, there are a lot of updates that I've really enjoyed, especially from a video perspective, because I prefer creating video content to photos. I just like it. I feel like it, lets you connect with your audience a little bit better, lets you show a little bit more personality. So I'm all over IGTV. I love it. And if they wanted to pay me to do it, I mean, I'd be thrilled.
Absolutely. I mean, you're biased because you do well on IGTV. But here's the thing, like YouTube, they do video.
Yeah.
That's it. Netflix does video. That's it. Imagine Netflix started doing status updates from George Clooney. You'd be like, what the hell's this?
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're at with Instagram right now. They keep adding these new features. And I don't want them. I just want what it's got right now to work properly. I just want the chronological feed back.
Yeah, me too.
That's it.
Back in the day, it was so simple. You just upload a photo, once a day or once every couple of days. You didn't have to do stories, IGTVs, all sorts of different things.
And you know what? We've
live.
Absolutely. And the thing is, we know for a fact that to kind of play the algorithm as best as possible, you've got to be on live every day. You've got to be posting one photo at least every day. You've got to be on stories every day. And now you've got to be posting on IGTV every day.
Yeah, but I'm not doing any of that.
No, I know. I know. We haven't got time. But the point is to get the maximum reach That's what you've got to do.
Yeah.
And then the algorithm doesn't really work that well, because if I look at 3 cute puppy photos, which I do regularly because I love dogs, the next minute my whole feed is dogs.
Oh, my entire explore page is dogs.
I don't want that. I want, and then all of a sudden I miss everything my friends have done for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, it's the only people that benefit from that Instagram algorithm or the Facebook algorithm are the advertisers and the financial people at Facebook and Instagram.
Well, I think what they want, obviously, is for you not to be on Snapchat and YouTube and Twitter. They just want you to go to their app and get everything that you get from all those apps in one place.
Before Google, when Google kind of was launching, Google went up against Yahoo, right?
Right, yeah.
And Yahoo was this page. It looked a bit like Google, but underneath it, there was like sports, news, action, movies, TV, there was all these categories.
Yeah.
So you'd hit the Yahoo page because no one knew what was on the internet at that point.
Right.
And from there you go, I want to know about sports. And you click on a sports page and you get that information. I kind of feel like Instagram and Facebook want to become the next portal. Like when you open the internet, you go straight to Instagram.
Yeah.
That ain't ever going to work. People got sick of that when Yahoo died.
Yeah.
So there's some interesting developments happening. And I think as a result, that's why things like TikTok have just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Because it is one thing and it does one thing well. Twitter, everyone I talk to is the biggest fan of Twitter now because it just does one thing.
Yeah. It's like the danger of being a jack of all trades,
Absolutely.
right? Just do your one feature and do it well and stick with that.
Well, the phrase is jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
The master of none is the key part. And unfortunately, that's what I think is happening over in Facebook camp.
Yeah.
It's not good.
But talking about what I have been loving on YouTube, do you know what launched today?
I do, but yes.
This is so I'm not going into conspiracy theories here. I'm going to talk about the conspiracy palette.
Ooh.
That do you like that transition?
Hang on. I've got a sound for that.
No, don't give me the crickets. Oh, yeah.
Kind of conspiracy.
Halloweeny. Okay, so for the last like week or so, I'm not sure how long it's been going for, but there has been this collaboration that I have found very interesting from a business perspective, and it's between 2 titans on YouTube. One of them being Jeffree Star, and the other one being Shane Dawson.
So Shane's on 23 mil. Jeffree is on 16.5. I think he actually became this week the #1 beauty guru on YouTube. I think he just beat out James Charles this week, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, he's either #1 or #2, but he's massive.
Oh my gosh, they are both massive. And they have been on YouTube for many, many years. Like Jeffree Star has been a huge YouTube guru for a decade or more, I think.
I think Shane is one of the OGs. I think he joined YouTube when YouTube started.
Yeah. So you can imagine the 2 of them collaborating on something is like enormously huge. And what they have done is created this 6-episode series where they actually show the full behind the scenes of them launching a collaboration makeup collection, I guess. It's not just one palette, it's like a few palettes.
It's kind of that and the associated products, like he does backpacks and mirrors and stuff like that. But can I just add, it's not 6 episodes, it's 6 1-hour episodes.
I know.
Like they are making content.
Oh, and people are getting so sucked into this. Like these episodes are getting 20 million views, 17 million views. The one that went up 2 days ago has got 14 million views on it already.
That is outrageous.
And basically they're showing how they're coming up with a, makeup palette, what colors they're choosing, how they're making the photo shoot, how they're making all the packaging, the warehouse, everything like that. So they're showing the full behind the scenes of like how the makeup industry works and how that kind of business works. And so I think that's super interesting for people.
Well, the thing that's interesting for me, I'm obviously don't wear makeup.
No.
But despite that, I've been so fascinated. I've been glued to this series because from a business perspective, it's interesting to see how it works. And they're 2 kind of very larger than life characters. I can't imagine they actually act like they act on their YouTube channel in real life. Obviously, no one can. People are normal in real life, right? But what they're actually doing behind the scenes is being recorded. So there was one part of the episode where they just did a kind of a temporary drop of some merch. And in 20 minutes, they made $530,000 and they put it in the video.
Yeah.
They're not hiding anything. And when stuff's gone wrong, I think some of $1 million worth of his stuff got stolen from the warehouse.
Yeah.
They also included that.
Yeah.
Like, it's nuts. It's so interesting to watch.
It is honestly probably one of the most genius marketing strategies I've ever seen. I am truly impressed by it. I do think when I look at the thumbnails and the titles, I think they're like kind of a lot more intense than the actual content is.
Oh, he's the king of clickbait.
It is so clickbaity. Like, it's like him crying, and like the video is called "The Failure of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson." And in actual fact, there's no failure in it. They're just like maybe messed up one color or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that is the art of good clickbait, right?
Absolutely.
But it's working because the CEO of Shopify actually messaged these guys and said that they are now the #1 Shopify store on the Shopify platform.
So the palettes actually launched today, and I can only imagine that they're going to sell out in like a few hours.
Well, it launched in Australia first because we're ahead in the time zone, and I've seen so many posts of people that have already gone out, like as soon as the shop's open today, bought it and have started posting pictures. Like, it's going crazy.
I think people aren't even really buying it for the makeup itself, but more so they've just been sucked into this storyline, and they feel like they're kind of a part of it now, right?
They're invested.
Yeah, you're invested because you've watched this entire like series, watched the making of it, and now you want like, it's like just having part of like the movie that you watched the making of.
Honestly, I want to go and buy this stuff just to have a look at it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm never going to wear eyeshadow, but I want to buy this pack and see how it's transposed over to kind of an actual product, because I've seen the sketches on their channel, and it's really interesting.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the series and you're interested in like, business and merch and how YouTubers are creating these like enormous industries of their own, I think it'd be something that's really interesting to you. I must warn you, the videos are kind of long, and there are like, he really amplifies like spooky music when there's like nothing really spooky happening and stuff like that. So when you kind of aren't sucked into it and you look at it from a outward perspective, it's all a little bit like romanticized.
It's very, very good showmanship.
Yes. I'm
very impressed. The only issue I do have with it is when he films, I don't think he has a microphone attached to his camera. He's using like the internal mic.
Yeah.
And that, as a video guy, that irritates me because sometimes I can't hear the stuff as clearly and his levels aren't as great. Like, his editing needs a bit of work. No, I'm serious.
He's serious.
I think so. I don't think it's great
he hasn't
editing.
quite got the quality of this sound. It's also crazy to me that he's launching makeup because he doesn't wear makeup.
That's the only thing that I think might kind of be not a downfall, but a definite negative. Because the only people that are going to buy a Shane Dawson palette are his fans.
Yeah.
Now, yes, he does have 23 million fans, so probably he's going to sell out.
Such a small customer base.
No, but like if you think about it, people that buy, I don't know, Armani foundation, they're buying it because it's genuinely good and they use it every week forever.
For sure.
I know you do. I say Armani foundation because I know Pia's been buying that for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Someone that buying the Shane palette might just be buying it as a kind of...
It's merch.
It's merch. That's right. So it might be a one-off sale. However, you can't kind of put that down because I think they're going to make $20 million.
Yeah.
It's still going to be
one
amazing.
of their videos is literally called the $20 million
really?
deal. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they are far outshining us. So I'm very impressed.
I'm very impressed too. And then obviously we cannot go past what today is.
It is Halloween.
It's Halloween. Spooky music. Cue the spooky.
Spooky. It's annoying. This is my conspiracy theory music, and now I've got to use it for all spooky occasions.
Well, this is the only spooky occasion of the year. What other spooky occasions have you got planned?
All right, we'll cut this then. There we go. Yeah, it is Halloween. It kind of annoys me that America kind of drags Halloween out for 2 weeks now.
Yeah, I feel like everybody started posting about this like a week ago, and I'm like, wait, did I miss Halloween? But no, it's today. But we've already seen everybody's costumes.
I'm actually very bummed about this whole Halloween thing. This year, we had a huge plan.
Yes.
And I'm very, very annoyed. Because we had outfits, we had makeup, we had everything planned. It was going to be great. And then one of our friends, and they didn't know this by the way, but one of our friends posted a photo 2 days ago of their Halloween outfit. And it's exactly what I was going to go for. And that's just coincidence. Like, we haven't told a soul. So nobody knows this. But as a result, now I don't want to post anything because it looks like we copied them.
Also, social media is amping up Halloween so much that now I'm like, well, I didn't book Industrial Light and Magic to do my special effects makeup.
You know who's been really good for Halloween this year?
Who?
Liza Koshy.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Because she's got that Anna Wintour look. And Anna Wintour isn't really someone you can go to Halloween as. Because Liza kind of looks like her, she's quite this delicate little frame.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
What did she write? She's like, Wintour is coming.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it kind of works because she works with Vogue quite a lot with the Met Gala.
Yeah.
Which is great. And she also did Gandhi.
Gandhi, that was the best. She literally posted herself just a couple of hours ago as Gandhi. And she's like, the things that we haven't seen from him, you know, and he's ironing and trying on new glasses and checking his Twitter. And she's doing all these like funny things that you would never imagine Gandhi doing. But she's such a great actress and that kind of character. It's really fun.
Yeah, and I saw Kim Kardashian went as Elle Woods from, what's it called, Legally Blonde?
Legally Blonde.
And she actually recreated that scene.
The whole application to Harvard Law.
That's right, yeah. It was pretty good.
She did the whole application.
Also, James Corden did his carpool karaoke thing with Kanye West.
Right.
But they did it in a plane.
Plane karaoke?
Yeah, it was something like that. And he had the whole of his Sunday service as passengers in the plane.
Yeah.
I thought it was a set. When I first saw it, I thought, okay, this is kind of one of those movie set planes. It stays in the runway. And then you see the plane take off. And then you realise that background noise is not just hum. The plane is actually flying while they're all singing and dancing and stuff. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I did see it. And I don't know. I get a little bit of a messiah complex from Kanye.
No, so I don't. I think Kanye I think he's trolling all of us.
Do you?
100%. There is no way he believes anything he says. Just everything he does in life is self-adulation. It's literally...
It's theatrics, right?
It's absolutely theatrics.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's like... He was saying God's talking to him now and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, he's like, God's talking to me. I'm the messenger and all this. Yeah. And I'm like, this is the weirdest like messiah complex I've ever seen.
Do you know what he said on James Corden?
What?
He said he made $115 million last year, but he ended the year $35 million in debt. Now, firstly...
That's when you know you have a slight spending problem.
That's when you know you're an idiot.
You think I shop too much?
No, that's when you know you're an absolute moron, right? He says God entered his life, and as a result, this year, he's not in debt anymore. So,
because God gave him his money back?
Yeah, or whatever, helped him earn more money. And it's like, mate, there are people in the world that are starving hungry. You can't say that because you, literally from a billionaire's family now, found God that you're back in the green. Because probably Kris Jenner bailed him out.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, this is just a reinvention of his character, right? Like when you look at, you know, musical stars like Michael Jackson and Madonna and all that sort of stuff, they had to go through these crazy reinventions to keep the audience entertained decade after decade. I do like that he was smiling a lot in that interview though.
It's
weird. Very odd looking at him smile.
Weird. Well, I don't think it's easy for him to smile because he's got those grills.
I know. The whole like shape of his face has changed.
I've tried grills on before. If you smile too much, they pop out. So you got to kind of be quite serious when you're wearing them. And I think that's where he's at right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very, very odd.
So do you want to talk about the Game Changers?
Yes, that was cool. We watched this documentary called The Game Changers this week, which is an Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of produced. There's a lot of people. I think Jackie Chan produces it as well. And talking about the benefits of being on a plant-based diet, which I think everyone kind of now knows is slightly better than a meat-based diet. Your body digests food a little bit easier. I don't want to harp on and be kind of this vegan preacher because I'm not vegan, but everyone kind of knows in their heart of hearts that it's a bit better for everything, for the planet, for your digestion, for everything, right?
And while you're not vegan, you really don't eat a lot of meat.
No, I don't eat red meat, and I've probably had chicken, I don't know, once this month. But that aside, the funny thing about The Game Changers, if you check it out, it's a good doco, kind of slightly preachy, but okay, you know, I guess they have to be a little bit propaganda-ish. But the funniest thing, Wolf, with The Game Changers is there's a bit in there where they say that if you are on a plant-based diet and you cut meat out entirely, your naughty bits at nighttime perform up to 5... Right, get this.
In my head, I thought you meant like snacks, like cheat snacks.
I mean, you could call it that.
You naughty bit.
Well, I'm trying to make sure we don't get demonetized on the podcast. Apparently, your naughty bits perform up to 500% better.
So now everyone's like, oh my gosh, I'm going vegan.
Well, this is it. Everyone I'm talking to is like, oh my goodness, have you seen the Game Changers? I'm like, let me guess, you're going to go vegan now. And it's like, so apparently,
that's all you have to tell men, right?
I know.
You can tell them they'll be healthier, they'll have less toxins in their body, they'll be helping like the planet and all that.
Children will have oxygen,
Just
no one cares.
tell them that there'll be more studs in the bedroom and they're like straight up into it.
The thing that gets me is the way they done this test, it wasn't about your performance in the bedroom, it was actually about your kind of, I've got to really be careful how I word this, your autonomous performance when you're dreaming. Is that right? Is that the right way to say it? Yeah. Regardless of who else is in bed with you. So if you're a girl and you don't know this, when you're a man, your body does self-tests. I think that's the best way to word it.
I did not realize this podcast was going in this direction.
It's a health documentary now. And apparently, if you stay on a plant-based diet for long enough, you self-test 5 times more than usual.
We're like children. We're like married grown-ups and we can't get through this sentence.
If you watch it, everyone's giggling on the documentary as well. So yeah, look, let's move on from that because this isn't going to go well.
So there you go. If you want better performance in the bedroom, maybe consider a vegan diet.
So are you telling me that cutting out my meat intake will potentially ensure that you get a little bit more meat intake?
You cannot say that. Cut, abort. Grace is literally calling you right now.
I know. I can imagine like Grace is going to go, okay, take the podcast offline now.
It was a bad idea to begin with.
We need to talk about this new segment on the podcast. The new segment is called Talk to Me in My Ears.
Why did you call it that?
I thought that was pretty catchy.
Every time someone talks to you, it's in your ears.
This is what happens when you plan a podcast after the first or second glass of wine.
What do you mean, talk to me in my ears?
So look, guys, Anchor is our system that runs this whole podcast thing, right? And you guys are able to go onto the link in the description of this podcast and leave us a voice message, which has happened.
Oh, okay.
So I'm choosing 5 every week to go through, as long as they're not too long.
And you've listened to these, right?
Well...
And he's not shown them to me because I know what he's doing. He's listening to them in advance, coming up with a really clever answer, and then I have to listen to them on the spot, and then I sound like the idiot.
Yeah, I want to make sure I sound like the smart one because Pia's the one with the degree. So I need to step up. I need to one-up my wife all the time.
He's probably like researching really great responses to all these questions, and I just have to answer them on the spot. So all right, let's see how we go.
Okay, so what I have done, and this may not work, so please bear with us. I have Bluetoothed my phone to this Rode thing, right? And now I think if I play the voice memos that have come in via Anchor, it should be able to record on here.
Okay.
Yeah? I might have to cut out some of the pauses that are about to happen just now because I don't really know how to do this. So let's give it a go. I'm going to turn the volume up. I'm going to hit play. The first one is from someone called Erin.
Hi, Erin.
Well, she can't hear you because it's a pre-recorded message.
Okay. Got it.
All right. Okay, let's go. 3, 2, I'm going to hit play now.
Hey guys, I just want to know the process that you undertook in finding an eco-friendly manufacturer for your yoga mats. I would love to do something like that, but I have no idea how to begin.
Love it.
Okay.
Wow, we sound like a professional radio station.
This is really cool. This is really cool. Okay, so to be quite honest, this was without a doubt the hardest part of setting up Slinky, actually finding people to make products that we were really happy with. So we started with a basic Google search and tried to look at what kind of materials would work for a product like eco-friendly yoga mats.
Yeah.
Then what we ended up doing was actually flying to a few different places like Bali and Bangladesh and dealing with manufacturers in person and hands-on working on samples. So this process took us about 8 months, and I'm not going to lie, it was full on. It was a long process. There were a lot of samples there. There was a lot of things that we weren't happy with to begin with. And after about 8 months or so, and pretty much all of our savings.
Well, it's hard, isn't it? Because, I mean, when you do stuff like this, you're dealing with people in different countries.
Yeah.
And English is, is their second language. So whilst we think, everyone should speak English because we speak English, that isn't the case. So we had a few teething problems along the way. Absolutely, yeah.
So I don't want to sugarcoat it. It's not really that simple. We started with like trying to find people online and everything and trying to communicate like that, but there was just too much of a sort of language barrier for us to be able to do it like that. So we ended up flying to Bangladesh and actually working with someone hands-on and staying there until we were happy with the samples.
You know what might be worth doing? Maybe we should make a YouTube video about this.
Yeah,
because
I think we should.
This in itself is like a 45-minute talky video where we explain how we did it. And I'm not precious. Like I'm happy to share this information because I think the more people that can produce eco-friendly products, it's better for everyone, right? I'm not trying to hide this. So I think maybe we should do that in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is from Fiona. I don't know what this one is. I didn't check it out. I only actually listened to Erin's.
Okay.
Hey guys, long time follower across all your different platforms and fellow content marketer, not in the influencer space, but I just, I love the podcast. I think it's really, really great mix of just chit chat, but then obviously really interesting stuff. Shows off your great obvious chemistry and lots of banter. And I think like it's got a good, like I say, a really good mix of genuine informative stuff as well as just, the silliness and the personality, which is great. But I got to say, don't film it. This is from a place with love. It is not necessary. I've followed you for a long time and I've seen you overcommit to content schedules before and it's just not worth it. It's a podcast. It doesn't need to be filmed. We don't need that. I'm sorry, I'm running out of time, but this is just my opinion. I don't think you need to worry about filming it. We love the podcast and it's just not.
Oh, she ran out of time.
Oh, that is such a cool idea, actually. Because to be quite honest, if you guys saw what I was wearing right now, you would. I'm not filmable right now.
Here is in an AC/DC t-shirt and some strange. I feel like her mum knitted these pants for her with a very, very loose knit. I can see right the way through them. I hope she didn't pay money for them because they are transparent.
They're flares too.
Oh my goodness me, it's so distracting. Look, honestly, I kind of get where Fiona's coming from there.
Yeah.
I really love watching podcasts on YouTube, and that's why we've spoken about on the podcast about filming the podcast, because we watch H3H3 a lot. We watch Joe Rogan. It's a good way to consume content.
And also, we've spent the last 2 years building a bit of an audience there. So we kind of feel like if we put this content on there, it will help us with more regular uploads onto YouTube. And also, there's like nearly 400,000 people there who might tune in, right? Whereas on all these other platforms, we're completely starting from scratch.
Yeah, so Fiona, I guess my point there is, with the podcast, especially on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify and on Google Podcasts and stuff, we're starting from zero again, which it kind of sucks, let's be honest. But with YouTube, if we had a video version, we can put it up there and we might get between 20 and 50,000 views immediately. Yeah. So for our perspective, I really want those views. I want to do this for more people.
But then also she has a point, because if you film it, and the other day, Kane set it up to film from 2 different angles, which means not only does he then have to kind of export this audio file and upload that, he then has to cut together film or like visuals from 2 different cameras onto whoever's talking. And it actually adds a lot of editing time into something that right now is a super quick, we sit down, we have a chit chat, we export and we're ready to go.
Well, that's exactly it. And actually we were actually using 3 cameras last week for that podcast that we'd never uploaded. But 3 cameras is way more than I use for the vlog. So I think editing a 3-camera podcast would be really tough. Yeah. So look, Fiona, I actually really respect what you said there. I think it's a very, very good point. And if we get to the point where we do upload videos, I will be doing it with someone else who will do the edit for me. Yeah. Does that make sense?
I think we need to start doing that, because she's totally right. Like we with all the best intentions of the world, we commit to schedules and then we end up with work or travel and all that sort of stuff, and it throws it out for us.
Yeah.
And realistically, what's important is that we upload really at the same time every week, and we make sure we actually hit what we've committed to hit.
Well, it's such a good point, and I hate that word overcommitting. But
We have a tendency to do that.
We really do it, and we do it because we love what we do.
Yeah, and we want to do everything.
I really want to do it, and then suddenly something gets, a spanner gets thrown in the works, and as a result, we can't do the second vlog of the week, or we can't get a second whatever out. And it is just a bit frustrating. It's more frustrating for me, trust me, because I want to do it. I'm saying that I'm committing to this schedule because I want to do it, and when I don't, I feel like I'm letting myself down as well as letting kind of the Pika crew down.
But we also need to remember to like have a bit of a balance. And like typically Kane and I try to switch off at about 8 o'clock at night and not work through the night. But the last few weeks, I've got to admit, we've overcommitted a little bit and have got to the point where we're staying up till midnight, editing vlogs, editing these podcasts, traveling. We did 1 day in Monaco and like a lot of flights and things like that. And I've got to admit, I'm now ready for like a day of just sleeping. I want like 10 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I know. It's Friday night and Pia has put her pajamas on. We are not going out after this at all.
Maybe tomorrow.
Let's move on to the next voice message we got. This is from DJ.
Hey, Pia and Kane. My name is DJ Anush. Just wanted to say, guys, loving your podcast. Keep up the great work.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, thank you, DJ Anush.
Thank you very, very much.
Appreciate that.
I think it's great too. All right, next message is Lee Harvey. I'm picking these at random, by the way.
Really good, Kane and Pia. I listened to it while walking the dog in the pouring rain in
English
the UK.
guy.
I love your bit on conspiracy theories, and I think you should have more, maybe on the Bigfoot or the Yeti.
Yes.
All the best. Keep it going. Excellent work.
Oh, it's so nice to hear an English accent. I never hear English accents. Like, he's a proper yeah, mate. How you doing?
Thank you, Lee.
It. Thanks, Lee.
I love that you're listening to it while you walk the dog.
This is from Laurie Lee. Hold on a moment.
Hey guys, great job on the first podcast. I had a question that Dara answered, and I think it would be really interesting to hear your answer too. And that is, what is your 5-year plan for Slinky and this social media empire that you're building, and how do you see the two interacting?
So this is a pretty interesting one. I like this question, actually. Similarly to the way that Shane and Jeffree, we talked about earlier, they're using their social media to build like a traditional business. I was almost about to say legitimate business, but social media is legitimate as well. But like a traditional business. That's kind of what we want to do. That's why we've got Slinky going right now. And we definitely do use our social media platforms to grow that business. And the reason we're doing that is because social media can be so fleeting. I always say, imagine you had like 2, 5, 10 million followers on MySpace. It's absolutely useless now. So I think both Pia and myself are very much in this kind of mindset that we've got to have our multiple revenue streams, which is always something that if you're self-employed, you should have. Not rely on one thing too much, and go from there.
So we really believe that when you work in social media, you need to figure out ways to become financially independent. Otherwise,
outside of social media.
Yeah, outside of social media. Otherwise, you're relying on platforms that you have no control over. So like Kane said, he always says like, what if you had 2 million followers on MySpace? You would be absolutely like screwed now. Nobody would care about that. So you have to use the current audience that you have to be able to build something that can grow far beyond just us as individual people. And Slinky was actually the way that we started. We never really set out to become, big social media personalities. We actually started with Slinky and wanted to grow our business and simply use social media as a marketing tool to help grow that.
Well, that's it. If it's so weird that we're on a podcast right now, but let's say podcast became the next big thing and Instagram became a nothing, we would use podcasting to build our business. And if magazines made a massive comeback and suddenly, everyone was buying magazines again, we would start running print ads again. And it's just, you've got to be malleable enough to say what's trending, what's working, and go with that.
So a lot of social media stars are really young, or they come from really wealthy backgrounds, so they're like live at home and they don't have any expenses or bills or anything like that. That's not the case with Kane and I. We are married, we have to pay our own rent, we have to pay our own bills. And so for us, it's really important that we have a number of revenue streams that aren't dependent on any one channel.
Yes.
So we want to use the current audience that we have to build something that can outgrow us. So even when we're, 40, 50, 60, we've built something that can still be a sustainable business and a sustainable income for us, rather than having to go back to, our previous jobs.
Well, if you look at every big brand on the planet, yeah, they're not, the CEO of the company is not the face of the company.
Yeah, it's not integral to the company. Yeah.
If Elon Musk left Tesla, wouldn't be a problem. If Richard Branson left Virgin, wouldn't be a problem. The company would still go. Whereas right now, a lot of influencers are like, this is my company, this is me, buy me, buy me. And as soon as you're not hot property, your company fails as well.
So we have big plans for Slinky. We love that we have a wellness company and that it has an eco-friendly approach, and there are so many avenues that we're exploring with it. I don't want to go into exact details with what we're doing at the moment because we're working on a pretty massive relaunch.
Yes, you got to keep your cards. What's it called? What's the phrase?
Keep your cards close to your chest.
Yeah, that's the one.
So we have some big plans with it, but the reason we didn't call it like Pia Active or anything like super related to me is because you might even notice in the last couple of years we've started using other models and things like that, so that we're building a brand that's actually a brand in its own right.
Yes.
Not just like our merch or not just like a brand that's related to us. And I think that gives us a little bit more longevity and a little bit more financial security as we move into our retirement years.
I don't know how old you think you are, but that's a very good point, because if you do that, it then means that you can then capitalize on whatever is trending then to grow your business.
That's right. And while we work with a lot of brands right now, realistically, our social medias are a great marketing tool for the brands that we partner with. And I actually want to come out of this at the end of the day with something that we've built for ourselves that is a sustainable business model. And that's not something that only makes money when Kane and I are putting in those hours. So right now we're hustling, we're working hard, we're jumping on every platform, we're doing as much as we can, but we want to come out of it with a brand that's self-sustainable and something that really has a positive impact on the planet too.
But if we're talking about my personal 5-year plan, my dream since I've known Pia is to own a hotel.
Yeah.
That is my one thing. And as I've kind of educated myself on the way life is and the way the planet is and the way the planet's deteriorating, for me, it's very much about having an eco-friendly, sustainable hotel. So everything we're doing right now, like when we buy property, we don't really tell you guys about that, but when we do, the whole reason we're doing that is to kind of build this portfolio that at some point I can cash in and go, great, I've got this many properties now. I'm selling them all because I'm going to buy that plot of land and build my eco-friendly dream hotel. That's my dream. If we're talking long-term plans, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah, we're trying to make a hotel.
Oh, time is up, and that's where we're going to end today's episode of Wine Time. If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure you're subscribed and have hit that 5-star rating on this episode. Every little bit helps, so we really appreciate that. If you fancy keeping up with our antics outside of this podcast, you can always follow us on Instagram. The links are in this description, or you can check out our YouTube channel where we post at least 2 videos a week. If you'd like to check out our website, which has heaps of posts as well as all our photo and video presets, head over to kaneandpia.com. That's www.kaneandpia.com. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.